Mochi dough.
Mochi dough.
All right. What are some of the things that if your local tea shop or whatever you walk into that you should look for immediately? They're indicators of somebody who's deeply thinking about it versus like this is just a strip mall place or something.
I don't know. That's tough to say.
Would go to a strip mall tea house, by the way. would totally check that out.
We actually want to open tea house.
Yeah. Strip don't even need the mall.
Strip teas, yes. Yeah, strip teas.
Let's open up a competing tea house tomorrow.
All right. There we go. This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by Squarespace. Head on over to squarespace.com/rogue, spell it right, R-O-G-U-E. Remember the O-G in R-O-G-U-E. Give it a free trial. When you sign up, use promo code ROGUE. Keep us in business. Get 10% off. Okay, all right. How are you going to deal with that? Tack.
Wait, you got Tack?
No, I just wanted to say the name of the game.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Andrew Heaton, host of Losers, Pretenders, and Scoundrels. It's kind of awfully close to Modern Rogue talk right there.
Yeah.
Host of The Political Orphanage.
Yeah.
Host of Adults Are Talking with Andrew Heaton.
A myriad.
We know the power of subversive places and of people engaging in stimulants and having interesting conversations. So I wanted to introduce to you my friend Sohan here at West China Tea Company right here in Austin,
Good
Texas.
to see you, brother.
Nice to meet you,
always,
Sohan. And I'm excited to get stimulants with fun people.
So what is it about the set and setting of the tea culture? Walk us through the things that have less to do with the actual chemicals in tea or where the tea comes from, but I'm fascinated by the various ritualistic aspects of it.
You know, when you talk about coffee houses and why you've got these things going on, these movements that start there, and it really comes down to the set and setting of a coffee house is that people are gathering, they're talking, they're connecting, they're sharing ideas, and they're creating new ideas together. The thing about the ritual of tea is that the ritual and the substance and the chemicals and the culture all kind of synergize to generate this very particular social context that's in many ways like a coffee house. We call them, third places. It's not your home and it's not where you work. It's somewhere that you go to be around people. And tea houses are really kind of this ideal third space because it's a ritual in the same way that making a pour over coffee is a ritual. The purpose is to make it good. But they've been doing it for so long that it looks really pretty and has all these cool little tools. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna make this green tea by request of Andrew.
What are we having here?
This is called guan guan cha, means jar jar tea.
I can't snort this. This has to be steamed.
You can off camera. It's a family establishment.
All right, nice. But, smells really nice.
It's a little bit smoky, and this is what I was saying earlier is like some farmer tea that like farmers make, they drink it. It's not something that you buy in a store. It's something that like your uncle makes this and you get to drink it when you're at their house, for example. So yeah, it's super special. But the nature of having people together, when you think about these movements, I'm gonna give you a little rinse because you had a different tea in there. You can give it to this guy.
Actually, well, here, I'll finish this.
Yeah,
do I pour it?
Give it to that dude,
Seems disrespectful.
No, it's what he likes. He's into it. Yeah, it's his whole purpose.
Normally I have to buy a subscription.
Can I dunk him?
Please, yeah, please.
I was thinking baptism, but I like yours, Brian. I'm curious, you mentioned third place.
Yeah.
If I go to like Starbucks, for example, I don't feel like people want to talk to me. The barista gets mad when I hit on her. It's generally a fairly anti-social place. In my experience, I'm just there for the liquid fuel / caffeinated milkshake. How is it different in the tea house socially?
Give that a smell. Well, so yeah, Starbucks is a great example because why are you there? Well, you're there for the reason you think you're there, but you're also there for the reason that Starbucks thinks you're there, which is to spend money. You're there to spend money, make a transaction, and then get your body out of the space so that you can make space for someone else to come in.
Is that why it's unpleasant inside of it aesthetically so that I leave quicker?
Exactly.
They're always 2 steps ahead of me.
And if you sit there long enough and you don't buy another drink, then the manager may come remind you to buy a drink that you're sitting there. A lot of coffee shops will do that because it's transactional. It's based on the transactions. It's not based on the connections necessarily that you're having, because like you said, you don't have conversations with random people at Starbucks as a rule. It's possible. If you're very outgoing, you can do it. But here, it's what you do. People come here and you are absolutely, if you sit at this table, you're absolutely going to have a conversation.
Designed as such, right?
Well, and we come from different worlds. It strikes me that it has to be more than a coincidence that this is laid out like a blackjack table. Like, this whole structure is very familiar with me, that we begin and go in the round and people strike up conversations while they're waiting for their turn to have more tea.
Yeah, I think it's like you pointed out, it's in the round. It's something that happens in the round where people are sitting in a circle, and we don't sit in circles anymore, we sit by ourselves with our phones. You know what I mean? But people having, when you're sitting in a circle, everyone's the same. Even the person sitting here, they're the authority about what's going on, but they're also the server. It's their job to serve the tea. But it's a fun thing to do. People seek out the ability to do this so they can be of service to each other.
What are some of the things that, if your local tea shop or whatever you walk into, that you should look for immediately to kind of tell whether or not they're indicators of somebody who's deeply thinking about it versus like, this is just a strip mall place or something?
I don't know. That's tough to say.
Would go to a strip mall tea house, by the way. Would totally check that out.
I'd go to a strip tea house.
Yeah.
Strip don't even need the mall.
Strip teas, yes. Yeah, strip teas.
Let's open up a competing tea house tomorrow.
All right. And by the way, how often do I do this? Just all the time?
Anytime you would want to say thank you, you can do that instead, because it doesn't break the flow of conversation. Thank you, you're welcome.
So,
thank you, welcome.
Even if you were to just like have a witticism or tell a joke or something, like that's a gift you've given to me, and I could say thank you for that.
You could do that. It'd be cute. It'd be cute. That's not a thing that usually people do, but yes, thank you. That's that. It would be cute. Maybe I'll start doing that. Maybe I'll start doing that at Teahouse.
But before I ruined the flow of conversation, Brian had asked, what would you look for to see that somebody's paying attention to the environment?
Oh, I don't know. I think that just a couple tables behind a store, you know what I mean, that could be a tea house. There's nothing physically that I would say. I'd say that if you see tools like this, you know, like a gaiwan or these little teapots like this, or these very distinctive tools that are just used for this particular purpose, that's indicative that Gong Fu Cha as a discipline goes on there, or the things can be obtained for that. It doesn't necessarily mean they do this, like this public table in the round thing, which is kind of our signature. A lot of tea houses don't do that. It's like people sitting at their own little individual tables.
I do remember last time we spoke, it sounded like tea itself was very intentionally, heavily egalitarian. It was, let's all be on the same level. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We're all sharing the same thing. You go to a coffee shop, you're not drinking the same thing as other people. Everyone's got their own drink. You know, but the fact that we're sharing the same thing, we're experiencing the same thing, it's changing. We can always come back to this discussion. But also, what's egalitarian is that you don't have to know about it. It's not an acquired taste like coffee or whiskey or wine or beer. Anyone can drink it, kids drink it. I had literally 1-year-olds drinking it this morning at Babies and Tea, and they love it. They kept asking for more.
So I guess it's more of a led experience where it's like you are going to take all of us on a journey, as opposed to, I have my thing that I like, a mocha latte half calf double
5 hyphens milkshake.
Yes.
It's like the blackjack table, because we're all doing the same thing. In blackjack, you're all playing the same game together at the same time. And when you're smoking hookah, also, it's like that. You're all smoking the same thing together at the same time in a circle. That is this inherently egalitarian. It's not like a rectangular table where someone's at the head of the table and they're the head of the table. It's a circle.
Can I follow up on something? You said that you were giving caffeine to children. Are you insane?
If their parents let me do it, I will give it to them.
Is there a problem?
I give my child caffeine. And she's fine. Honestly, she does fine with it sometimes. Sometimes she doesn't. She also likes to eat dry tea leaves. She's 3, for context. She's not like 17 years old. Yeah.
So I assume part of the placement of everything is specifically to encourage crosstalk chatter. Like if the two of us sat down here and we didn't know anybody else, would there be any kind of courtesy dance I should do before I involve myself in whatever the other side of the table's talking about?
Usually it's one big conversation, you know? Sometimes people will break off into their own little conversations. What's neat though is that all this seems like it's designed to facilitate conversation, but really it's designed to facilitate serving tea. And the cool thing is that people you can't sell connection, right? You can try to sell connection, and when you do, it becomes transactional, and it doesn't feel like authentic connection anymore. We don't sell connection, we sell tea, and tea, because of the nature of how we do it, because of the way you do multiple steepings, it's how we've been drinking the same tea for 15 minutes, right? And it changes, and the way it always brings us back together, that creates the context where connection can happen of its own accord. Also, we're stuck here. I don't have my mug of coffee that I can walk off with and get on my laptop or get on my phone. You get 3 sips in that cup, and if you want to keep drinking tea, you got to sit here with everybody.
So is it expected for the tea master to facilitate the journey, or or to just tune out and be all like, all right.
It's their job to make sure everyone has tea, for people to know what the tea is and where it comes from and what makes it what it is and what we're doing so people understand that they know that tapping your fingers and how to taste the tea and everything. And that's it. And I always tell my staff, I'm like, it's not your job to entertain these people. It's your job to serve the tea. If you serve the tea, the people will enjoy themselves. So you don't have to hold space for all these people and their stuff. Just focus on serving the tea. Conversations happen on their own, and it's so funny because you can have a group of 6, 7 people that don't know each other and they've never done this before, and you can sit here and serve tea in silence, and for like 5 minutes or something, it'll be super awkward, and you can say nothing, and just maybe introduce the tea, and then after about 5 minutes or so, everyone starts talking. And that's part of that is that you're sitting there long enough, part of that is that you're drinking a warm beverage together, and part of it's the chemicals in the tea. And also, the array of humans that you get here is very, very diverse because everyone can drink tea. Not everyone can drink alcohol. Observant Muslims don't drink alcohol. People in recovery don't drink alcohol.
I don't get violent when I drink tea.
Exactly.
But boy, howdy, when I drink vodka.
Exactly. And so, as you know, I host a whiskey podcast. I love whiskey and I really appreciate it. But the ability to connect with everyone is not going to be achieved by alcohol or food because some people are keto and some people are vegan and some people are halal, you know, etc.
Would it be actively discourteous to, thank you,
Yeah.
to sit down at a place like this and pull out a cell phone and just tune out or read a newspaper or do your own thing?
Nope. People come here and they'll draw, they'll read, they'll be on the phones. People will come here and not say anything for 6 hours. They'll sit here for 6 hours and they'll just be drinking tea and doing whatever, and they're still part of the conversation. And it's not weird for them to be there.
You mentioned earlier that one of the big differences I gather from a coffee house like Starbucks versus a tea house is that is a transactional model, whereas this is a connective model. I love that. I love that you're providing community and you're socializing. How do you make money in order to just operate, though?
So we're drinking a pot of tea right now. There's 3 of us, so we're drinking, and we're doing an episode of a show, so we're drinking it kind of slow. But if there were more people, we'd be drinking it faster. And at this table, every time someone drinks a pot of tea, that's $5, right? You drink another pot of tea, that's another $5. If you're a member, you and your guests can drink as much tea as you want here for free. You know, we got annual members, we got monthly members, and they're just paying an annual or monthly. And then people buy tea. People come in here, maybe they come and drink tea 5, 10 times and they never go home with any tea, but one day they buy a tea set and then they start making tea at home and they start serving tea to their friends. They start creating that third space environment wherever they are. And then it's like getting into cigars or whiskey or any other hobby where you can spend a whole bunch of money. This is like a $400 teapot, and we sell out of them. We get these and we sell out of them. This is a $300 Gaiwan, and you know, not all the stuff's expensive. But you could come in and spend $2,000 here, and people do. Or you could come in and spend $5 or $10, or you could come during community, which is a twice monthly event that we have that's donation-based, and spend no money.
As the person leading our tea event, we're all enjoying the path that you're taking us on, and then someone sits down and they're like, "Nope, I want Lipton's." Do you just say, "Sure, I guess," and then go make Lipton tea, or?
We don't have any, so no, we can't do that.
I've got some in my trunk if you want it.
My point being, when somebody tries to get customized or wants to go against the flow,
requests are welcome. You put in a request like you put in a request with a DJ. They'll get to it eventually.
Got it.
And I'll canvas, you know, I'm serving, I'll canvas the table. I'll be like, what do people want to drink next? The whole mood, the whole environment of the whole table changes when you change teas. Because tea has this nootropic quality. It also has a psychedelic quality because it has these chemicals.
Describe it. Those were 2 fancy words.
Yeah.
So, okay, when you drink tea, good tea, it has to be good tea, and it has to be prepared well, like this, with a high dosage of leaves. That's more like leaf than there is water. So we're making very concentrated tea, and the only reason it's not super strong and bitter is because I am exercising my discipline and skill that I have spent 20 plus years cultivating, making it well, so that we're having many steepings of really delicious tea and not one really bitter infusion, right?
Is this the part where I pour it on his face? Or?
Whenever you want to, you can do that.
Is that why? Because I like English breakfast, but I can only do it on a full stomach, and I put in cream or milk. Is that just because I'm screwing it up?
It may be, or it may be a quality thing.
Okay.
It might be a quality thing, or it might be because you're oversteeping it. Yeah. But if it tastes good in your mouth, but it hurts your stomach.
It tastes bitter. Yeah.
Okay, well that's
I'm overdoing it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
These are the tools with which you don't overdo tea. These are the precision tools that have been developed for the purpose of doing this.
We talked about this. It is possible to overdo tea.
Yes.
You could get like wicked messed up on
Really?
how much
Right,
tea.
tea drunk. That's
Go on.
So, and we talked about it last time, so I'm not going to get too into it, but chazui means tea drunk, and it's an established phenomenon that is what happens. Just like you can drink fancy cacao in like a cacao ceremony. I don't know if you've ever done this, but you can, and you feel something. You don't feel something eating a Hershey's bar. Likewise, you will not get tea drunk drinking Lipton or Twinings or these factory teas. It's like a craft singles level thing, you know what I mean? But when you have really fancy tea, what makes fancy tea fancy and expensive and good is not really the way it tastes and smells, it's how it makes you feel. And the feeling is, how it makes you feel, the thing that you're feeling is called the qi of the tea, cha qi. A good tea has good qi. You are probably feeling the qi of this tea right now. It's different than the tea that we drank before we started shooting. And you might be able to feel that if you just tune into your body. Maybe not, it's okay, it doesn't matter. But when you are altered by the qi of the tea, it's called chazui, which means tea drunk. And tea drunk is different than being drunk on alcohol, because when you're drunk on alcohol, you're impaired. But when you are tea drunk, you are more lucid than baseline. Your reflex time is faster. Your cognition is enhanced because it's nootropic, which is this, it's a fancy word that you see it a lot now, but it's chemicals that make your brain work better, essentially, is what nootropic is.
I would love to have a lucid, perhaps confident, high-energy drunk. That sounds terrific. Do people shoot for this, or is this like a...
It's absolutely something people... I mean, it's why people spend so much time and effort and money on it is one of the big reasons, is the way that you feel when you drink it. You don't just do it because it tastes good. Okay. You do it because it feels good.
It's my new favorite tea, ADD tea.
It's really, I have mad ADHD. I've got wicked ADHD, and I didn't learn till way later that I have been self-medicating with tea this whole time, because one of the big ones is you've got caffeine, which is a stimulant. Everyone knows caffeine, but you also have L-theanine, which is a GABA agonist, like we were talking before, where it calms you down, and that's why people say, oh, caffeine from coffee messes me up, but caffeine from tea, I'm stay calm. One of those is L-theanine. It's a GABA agonist, but it also helps to induce the formation of alpha waves in your brain. We talked about this last time.
Yeah.
And you made it,
Okay.
you made it an alpha joke.
We don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole.
Right.
However,
it's a deep rabbit hole.
So when it comes to the place, I assume, are there wildly different cultures at different third spaces, or do they, at least when it comes to tea, tend to be fairly similar?
They're super diverse, because you have tea houses all over the world, right? And even within China, they're super diverse. In Chengdu, where I used to live, a tea house is outside. It's like woven rattan or bamboo tables and chairs outside under a willow tree by the river, and you've got a gaiwan like this, and you've got a big old thermos of hot water that has like Hello Kitty on it or something like that, like a big plastic thermos, and you're just pouring, and they bring you the 5 grams of tea, and you put it in your gaiwan, and you're sitting there drinking out of your gaiwan, and you're playing mahjong, you're playing Go, you're reading the newspaper, you're smoking. So
it would be appropriate for us to, like, I don't know.
Play tag?
Yes, exactly.
When people drink tea in China, there's a good chance that they are smoking cigarettes also. It is very down to earth. People come in here and they're worried that they have to tiptoe around this very formal culture, and that is not Chinese tea culture, that is Japanese tea culture. They are different, very, very different. And one reason for that is tea is from China, and it came to Japan through Korea, and then to Japan through Buddhism. So Buddhist monks who use tea to meditate, and so these monks would drink tea because of these nootropic qualities. It helps them meditate, keeps them awake, because the caffeine, theanine, helps induce alpha waves, focuses your mind. Theobromine is euphoric, that accounts for the high part, and then there's EGCG, epigallocatechin 3-gallate, which is anxiolytic, anti-anxiety, so it keeps you calm.
So when somebody enters a space like this one, the West China Tea Company here, which is about to move in Austin, Texas.
We are moving.
Let's give the new location. Where are you guys headed?
East China Tea Company?
It'll be on the east side.
Sorry.
It was a directional joke.
We are moving to the east side, yes.
Yeah, I did it.
Did I say east or west?
No, you said it right.
Okay, got it.
It's a shtick. It's a shtick. Yeah. You're good. You nailed
I'm playing
it.
Edward Manson, buddy. You got it.
West China Tea, West China Tea House Company, whatever you want to call it. West China Tea, the entity, is moving to East 7th Street, 1715 East 7th Street, behind our homies Suerte, who serve our tea, which is a delicious, amazing restaurant that you should definitely go to, and Houston Tillotson University on the other side, which is also amazing. So we're right between those two.
And if people want to buy your teas, are you guys online?
Oh yeah, westchinatea.com. We've got these guys, we've got the tea sets, we teach classes, we have everything that you would need to be able to do this. And the thing about the tea houses is that they have this inclusivity because children can be here, Muslims can be here, Buddhists can be here, whomever, you know,
Episcopalians.
keto, paleo, Episcopalians. The only people who aren't technically kind of not supposed to drink tea that I know of are Mormons, because it's a hot beverage.
Right.
But they do. Lots of Mormons come here, practicing Mormons come here and drink tea because I guess they don't care. But, you know, I'm not going to out anybody,
We'll
but they
keep it on the
definitely
down
do.
low.
Keep it on the DL.
Closet Mormons will be
Yeah.
like, it's okay.
Yeah. Anyone's welcome here, and anyone can come here and enjoy this. You don't have to be knowledgeable about tea. You don't have to know Chinese. You don't have to have any kind of particular diet. And even if people don't necessarily know that they like or want tea, everybody knows that they like and want connection, which again, that is the real thing that brings people here. And the nature of tea, the centralized round service, the multiple steepings, and the way that it makes you feel kind of synthesize and combine to create an environment where people really do express themselves authentically.
As we explore all of these different subcultures on the Modern Rogue, in general, everyone says versions of the same thing. Like, if you want to have an amazing experience, just come in and say, I would like to understand this wonderful place and have an amazing experience, and everybody wants to guide you.
Yeah, absolutely. Lobochido.
Lobochido.
Cheers.
Why are we pronouncing it Texan?
Because we're in Texas.
We are in Texas.
Lobochido.
West China Tea is a great third place, but for the sake of the video, it's kind of like a first place. It's your home for the audience. It's where the episode takes place. But now I'm gonna show you the second place.
Ah, you did the first place thing, didn't you?
I did.
All right. Welcome to the second place. This is where we make the money. This is the actual job space. Of course, it looks different when you're doing not fancy production stuff. But just like I have a home and then I come to work, just like you go home and then you go to work, you also have a third place. You have a message. You have something in you that belongs out there in the world. Something that isn't work and isn't home. Whether it's your art, whether it's something community focused, you have a message that belongs out there in the world. My friends, you need our friends over at Squarespace. Head on over to squarespace.com/rogue, check it out, give it a free trial, and then get 10% off by using promo code ROGUE at checkout. Whether it's a beautiful, gorgeous, award-winning design for your website, whether it's the ability to reach your hardcore fans with email services, 24/7 support from actual humans, they can take your third place message and bring it to the world. And pretty soon, it'll become your first place. At which point you'll grow to think of it as work, an unending burden. For 18 years on YouTube, serving an unstoppable robot overlord, constantly changing the rules. Squarespace.com/rogue.
Modern Rogue is supported in part by viewers like you over at patreon.com/modernrogue. Patrons get episode recordings with effectively no cuts in all camera angles, and they'll see this upcoming bonus video early.
Lipton tea?
Oh, I was gonna go with Twinings.
Oh, I was gonna go with the wrapper iced tea.
He's a good one. Agreed. Yeah.
What about low tea?
Low tea's pretty good.
You
You know what?
for that one.
I'm glad I'm low tea now. Frankly, it's better. The amount of sex I'm having and the amount of sex I'm wanting are finally equate. It's actually been quite a relief.
But then, Lobochido.
Low bochido, low
to
tea.
low tea.